Welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another malicious compliance Reddit video. In our first story, don't eat out if you can't afford it. Okay, I won't. Let's jump right in. After reading a post about entitled waitstaff, it reminded me of what I experienced when I was first new to North America. At the time, I had just moved from a small village in Europe. When I had moved to Canada, I met up with others from my tiny area in Europe. Being from the same little country, we all became close. I had become friendly with a next-door neighbor who was a waitress at a mid to high-level restaurant in this town. She told me I should stop by, and so I did. I brought my friends along and it became a thing, where 9 to 12 of us would come in and eat and be served by her, at least once a week, every single week, often 2 times a week. I asked if that was okay, but she never seemed overwhelmed, and we often caught her just chilling at the front desk once she was done with the initial plates. More on that later. Again, we are not from a tipping country, so I initially was going to tip 15%. Then I was graciously informed by the host that an auto 18% tip was added to the bill for groups larger than 6. Okay, great! Didn't have to figure out how much to tip. After almost 3 months or so of this, she stops by as I am taking out my trash. One thing to know about her is that she seems nice, but also has no tact, and can have a bossy demeanor. She tells me she enjoys having us as customers and loves seeing us enjoy the food, but that we should be tipping 20% minimum. Heavy emphasis on the minimum. Also, good tippers would give at least 30%. I am a bit stunned that of all the things she can talk about, it was that. So I simply say, I'm sorry, okay. She finishes off with her signature sweet smile and the words, sorry hun, if you can't afford to eat out, then you shouldn't be doing so. Now, if she was polite and said something like, by the way, it's customary to tip this amount if we do a good job, I understand you might not know the customs here, then I would have understood. But many times I remembered she was inattentive as a waitress. We'd often have to flag her down after making eye contact, where she'd just wait behind the counter. Like I said, 20% was not out of the question. It was the way she said it. So I mentioned this encounter to my friends, and after a little talk, we realize we can't afford that. Nah, not if we also want to be able to purchase other goods such as fine wines, cheeses we love, and the like. See, we aren't poor, but not rich either. These weekly dinners were little luxuries that we splurged for the sake of friends and feeling special in a fancy restaurant. It didn't break our bank, but it was still a significant amount of money. To tip her properly, and the fact that we all realized that there were other little things in life we'd rather spend our precious money on, we decided it was too much. Across the entire group of us, it was hundreds of dollars in tips alone per week going to my neighbor. That's a lot for us. We could use that money to rent a pool hall, fishing tours, which are very expensive, etc. So we did what any responsible adult did. We stopped buying what we couldn't afford. It was far cheaper to host our gatherings in someone's house and do a potluck or make a deli board, etc. Now, having discussed this with other neighbors, I hear that she has said something similar to other people in the neighborhood. She would invite them out to eat, then tell them off later if the tip was too low. She always said the same thing, 20% minimum, and their story was the same as ours. Service wasn't the best, very hurried, not very attentive, etc. And the entitlement. Anyways, we stopped eating at the restaurant and having her as our waitress. Mind you, I never stopped saying hi to her, kept up my pleasantries, etc. But now, after we all of a sudden stopped coming in, she had a scowl on her face when she sees me, kept her responses quick, and stopped saying hi as much. And then, about a month after we stopped, one of the other neighbors mentioned to me how she was complaining that her tips weren't great anymore and that she couldn't afford to get more fillers for her cheeks at the new medical spa down the road. Oh well, like you said, don't eat out if you can't afford it. Story number 2, I certainly don't want to harass a customer. So I finally have a story to post here. I work in health IT. Specifically, I assist people with getting into various patient portals to access their health information, make appointments, message doctors, etc. 95% of the people who call us are nice and often grateful when we're able to help them get back into their portal. Some start as frustrated, but once they see we're able to help them and get them what they need, they transform and become sweet as pudding pie. Then there's the other 5%. Whoo boy. A note here that the company I work for is excellent. They put an emphasis on customer service first, but also have our back if there are any genuine issues with a customer misbehaving. Everything is recorded, so if there are any questions, quality assurance or management can go back, hear for themselves, and make recommendations as needed. All this leads to our caller for today. Mr. Douche was having problems getting into his portal. He calls me literally yelling about how broken and garbage your system is, with a tone implying I personally picked the electronic health record and portal for a medical organization in another state just to spite him. Hey, no hurt feelings here. There are some things I don't like about the portal either, but he continues on and on about how much he hates it. All his friends, lol, hate it, his neighbors hate it, his pets hate it, and so on. When I can finally get a polite word in, I ask him for his name so I can look him up in our system. He spits out his name, Bob Douche. Per HIPAA, I also have to ask for 2 secondary identifiers to make sure he is the right Bob Douche. I ask for his date of birth and the last 4 of his social security number per procedure. He rants about why can't I get him back into his chart now and screeches out the rest of his info. I try to find him in the system as he continues babbling angrily, and lo and behold, he's not in there. I politely ask him to spell his name. Geez, don't you know how to do your job? Turns out his name is not spelled like the normal douche. It is spelled something like Douche. I finally find him and open his file. So you can't get into the portal, sir? Yes, didn't I just say that? Okay, sir, I see your username is douchenozzle86. I can't look up old passwords, so would you like me to give you a temporary one? His screaming intensifies. I'm already in my portal, he cries in fury, completely contradicting what he said mere seconds ago. I need help finding my information. I am now holding my headset away from my ear in pain. If my cubicle neighbor had not been at lunch, I'm pretty sure he'd be able to hear this guy just as clearly as me. I'm sorry, sir, I thought you just said, don't you even know what you're doing? Well, sir, why do you keep asking me these questions? You're harassing me. Oh, well now, I can't be harassing my customers. That's just not appropriate and against our company's policies, of course. Deep breath, clear voice. Well, sir, I'm trying to assist you, but if you feel I'm harassing you, then I'm afraid I need to end this call. The screaming had become unintelligible at this point, though I hear a couple of curses thrown in. Remember how I said our company has our back? If abusive language is used, we're allowed to disconnect after a warning, and I had already told him I was going to end this call. I'm sorry I wasn't able to help you, sir. Thank you for calling Patient Portal. Have a good day. And I ended the call. Per procedure, I immediately notified quality assurance of what had just happened in case the guy called back with complaints or started bellowing at other agents. Quality assurance listens to the call and comes back with, wow, that guy started angry and he never let up. You tried to help and you had more patience than I would have. You're fine. I went on to help many other lovely customers through the rest of the day. He thankfully never called back. I would not be surprised to find he filled himself with so much rage he spontaneously combusted, leaving a vacuum of bitterness behind in his place. This is John from /bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to be the first to know when the next one drops, then subscribe and click on that notifications bell. We would love for you to drop a like, share with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.